heard from the conversations that people have had with us to date that you want to be involved in the regeneration of your city because it's your home and because you have expertise in your city. That is what we're here today to work on. We aren't here to talk about the merits of individual proposals for the area. That opportunity will come. Today we're here to work out how we connect. How do we work together to get the best outcomes, accepting that sometimes we might not agree on everything.
What do you think should be the guiding principles?
Communities, water quality.
And you've obviously got your group to discuss and clarify and hone your answers, but we do ask that you record all perspectives in your group. It's not about coming to a collective decision.
This is about everyone. The legacy, commitment, the responsibility on us. I'm really glad we've got a number of young people in the room today, because I don't know what the timelines look like, but at some point in the future, there'll be people sitting in rooms saying, how well did they get it right back in 2016?
It's the guiding principles. So people, environment, respect. It's about people, like people above all else, but we have to remember there's a secondary consideration of there must be a return.
Valuing the river and what it means to the city, so I guess that awareness of place.
Just that potential around human well-being, isn't it? Generally, like environmental well-being.
The way you get somewhere is a path that wanders, and you don't know what you're going to face along the path.
And that's the magic.
Right.
An ability to be adaptive, so not that you lock something in on day one and then...
You've got to take into account the other things that have happened and adjust yourself.
Right.
And that's what's
What I wanted to go through is we were thinking around how to get us to the point where we've got a regeneration plan. And this is where we're at the moment, and this workshop and feedback and so on is going to help mould that into a process. So there's a technical process and a master planning or spatial planning process, but all informed by an engagement process.
The second session, we're going to look at co-creating the engagement approach. What do we need to do?
So that when final plans come out, people can go, well, that makes sense, I understand why they've come to that. It's kind of partly educating, isn't it? And the when is really early.
It's got to be real. It can't be just dreaming.
Let's say you receive proposals, have them published publicly, almost as they come in.
So the legislative process for developing regeneration plans is set out in the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Act that was enacted in April this year. There are 4 main steps. So the first step is that we develop a draft outline. So the purpose of an outline is that it pretty much talks to process. And importantly for today, it identifies public engagement opportunities. So the when and the how we will engage with communities and others.
And communities, well, what is a community? A community might be a place-based community. It might be a community of affiliation or a community of practice. There are lots of different definitions, but we're trying to be as broad as possible. And if we can identify a community, that means that we're then able to connect and engage with that community. We've been encouraged strongly to listen first, then act. Start where our communities are at. And I'm mindful that this morning, we've got lots of communities that connect into this room. There are many that do not. And so I'm also very keen to try and understand who's missing from the conversation and how can we connect with them.
This is about the discipline of how the scientists work together.
They're integrated,
How they're integrated actually has a really big impact on the quality of the research. And this one is about manakitanga, so a desirable, basically, that engagement is taken at decent times, at decent places.
But to have a consultation process that just goes on and on and on.
Well, no, a consultation doesn't have to be long. It has to be real.
What might they go through, and then they'll come back and say, well, we haven't consulted with this group.
Well, you just make sure you get it right.
Do it once, do it right. How do we get it right?
Well, it's got to involve the people at the front end.
The process, not just the final decision, but any decision making that's been done, they're like a
The whole community needs to feel that they've been engaged and they've been listened to. So, and that will be the test, right?